Market snapped its two-week gaining streak to end the week in the red. Financials and FMCG were some of the biggest laggards that we saw today. 34 out of the 50 stocks gave negative returns for the week. Hello and welcome to a fresh new edition of Taking Stock, where the show where we review the week gone by, but more importantly, try and prepare you for the week in front of us. I'm Prashant. With me over the next 30 minutes, my colleague Sonia Shenoy. Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Prashant. It was a rather range-bound week, right? And nothing sort of a week for the market. We still had a lot of headwinds to deal with, whether it was higher crude prices, inflation, the Fed statements about a 50 basis points rate hike. So lots to digest. But let's tell you what we have lined up on the show for you to discuss the technicals for the week. To come, we have Jay Bala of cashthechaos.com. For the fundamentals, we're joined by Pramod Gubbi of Marcellus Investment. We'll also bring you market opinion that we got through the week from the likes of Dan Feynman of Credit Suisse, Sean Darby of Jefferies, Andrew Holland of Avendus Alternate Strategies. But before that, here's how the markets fared this week. It was a rather range-bound week, as I said. Not too much took place. The Nifty, although held on to the 200-day moving average, it was down about 0.7% this week. The mid-caps did a better showing, so up about 1% or so. The FMCG stocks, the consumption basket, was under a lot of pressure. Nigel will talk more about that. But the stocks fell anywhere between 5 to 7%. And on the upside, Reliance batted for the bulls today. So that was in the green. And you had a lot of non-index large caps, this reopening theme. So something like a PVR did well, mid-cap IT did well. So all in all, you'd have to say that it was a pretty range-bound week. But Nigel is here to take us through the specific action on stocks. Nigel, who were the movers and shakers this week?
Well, it was that sort of a week where the Nifty, well, it went in a broad range and in fact ended with a cut of only around 1%. The problem pocket in the past week was the Nifty Bank, that was relative underperformer. But from the broader markets, whether it was the mid or the small cap indices, there was a relative outperformance that comes in there. Metal stocks, they did do well, but that hurts auto companies because they are buying some of those aluminium, steel, and other metals as well. In terms of the Nifty, well, there were a few gainers, though. Big boy, Reliance Industries, that was the heavyweight that did pretty well. That was up close around 4.5%. Coal India as well continued to do well. And metal names, obviously, they did pretty well. Hindalco and JSW Steel were among the winners list. Dr. Reddy's as well, that was a relative outperformer coming in from the pharma pack, because that was up close on 7.5% odd. But consumption-related stocks, they got hit hard, whether it was Britannia, HUL, Titan. Titan, the problem is that some of those brokerages are now saying that valuation-wise, the stock is pretty expensive. But otherwise, consumption stocks like Nestle as well was under some pressure. Kotak Mahindra Bank, you had a large fund in there that went ahead and sold some part of their holding, and that's why that stock was down 5.5%. Broader markets, so there were a few winners. You had L&T Holding, the promoter going in there, buying more than 4 crore shares in the past week. So that was a big gainer. Z, because Invesco, they say that they were happy now with the merger with Sony, and they're happy to see that go through. So that was a bit of a relief out there. Concord, towards the end of the week, did pretty well. And Oro Pharma and Delta as well, both of them were spiking up in trade. But the problem is in the broader markets, well, though we had a relative outperformance, you had a few stocks that were under pressure. Consumption names, yet again, Dabur and Godrej Consumer, both of them are under some pressure. Marico as well did see some selling. And JK Cement as well has seen a fair bit of a correction from the time they announced that foray into the paints division. Well, to sum things up, Nifty under some pressure. The Nifty Bank was a problem pocket. Broader markets, there were some gainers, as I just told you. Back to you guys.
Nigel, thanks very much. Comprehensive wrap out. Just a couple of points before we get